What if I told you the ending of the Amazing Digital Circus has basically already been spoiled? Not by a leak, not by a hacker, but by the show's own creator? Because over the last few weeks, between quietly deleted posts, an accidental synopsis on an official ticketing page, and a character render that slipped through the cracks, the picture of what's actually coming in Episode 9 has gotten disturbingly clear. And I'm not talking about fan theories here. I'm talking about stuff that came directly from Glitch Productions and Gooseworks herself. Some of it posted, then immediately pulled down like they didn't want you to see it. So before the finale hits and you're sitting there completely blindsided, let's go through everything that's been quietly confirmed piece by piece. Because trust me, this ending is not what most people are hoping for. Let's start with something that flew under the radar for a lot of people. Glitch recently released a set of character preview renders tied to their movie event. We already knew about Pomni, Regatha, and Jax, but one of the renders was cropped in a way that cut off a specific character almost entirely. That character was Kinger, and for a while nobody could tell what was going on with him. Until now. The full image finally surfaced and two things immediately stood out. First, Kinger is still wearing the bucket hat from the end of Episode 8. That's not random. Costumes and visual details in this show carry meaning, and the fact that they're carrying that look forward into Episode 9 suggests it's part of his arc in the finale. But the second detail is what really got people talking. While every other character in these renders looks stressed, scared, or overwhelmed by the chaos unfolding around them, Kinger looks different. He looks calm, almost like he's at peace with whatever is coming. Now, we already know from Episode 8 that Kinger is the one who deleted Kane. He ended what had been the central threat of the circus. So heading into Episode 9, he's not just a background character anymore. The show has positioned him as someone with real emotional weight in the finale, and that render seems to be quietly confirming it. Now, here's where things take a darker turn. In Episode 9, listing appeared on a Netherlands-based movie ticketing site. When fans ran it through a translator, the description didn't just say, "The circus members face their biggest challenge yet," or something vague like that. It specifically called out Pomni. The phrasing asked whether she would escape the circus, or if this would be her final act. That phrase, "while on a final act," hit the fanbase hard, and not without reason. Because this actually connects back to something Gooseworks posted a while ago. She wrote that people constantly asking her to make sure nothing bad happens to Pomni are, quote, "probably not going to enjoy this show." She didn't sugarcoat it. She basically told us up front, bad things are coming for Pomni, and if that bothers you, that's kind of the point. When you combine that with a listing that's specifically framing her fate as an open question heading into the finale, it stops feeling like speculation. It starts feeling like foreshadowing that's been sitting in plain sight. Here's the part that genuinely surprised me when I first came across it. Fans recently dug up an older post from Gooseworks, written well before Episode 9 was anywhere near release, where she described a storytelling concept she wanted to explore someday. The idea involved a colorless, breaking down world, a big central problem that the main characters have to face, and then, here's the key part, that problem suddenly disappearing, not being solved in a triumphant way, just gone. Sound familiar? Because that is almost beat for beat what happened at the end of Episode 8. The circus starts falling apart, the world loses its color, and then Kinger deletes Kane, the biggest source of conflict the show has ever had, and he's apparently not coming back. But in Gooseworks' post, she didn't stop there. She described how the characters in her concept don't celebrate after the problem disappears. Instead, they slowly come to accept a kind of stagnant, going nowhere existence. Life continues, but without progress, without escape. If that's the ending she always had in mind for this show, and the evidence is really starting to point that way, then Episode 9 isn't going to be a victory lap. It's going to be the cast of the circus accepting that they're never leaving. No escape, no resolution. Just this. Forever. And if you think that sounds harsh, Gooseworks made her intentions even clearer in another post where she said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that knowing families are lined up to watch what she called the most miserable experimental episode in the series is going to be very interesting. Her word, miserable. This woman is not setting up a happy ending. Now onto one of the stranger pieces of this puzzle. An image started circulating recently that showed Jax on all fours looking completely defeated on the floor of what appears to be one of the circus characters' rooms, with the door wide open behind him. Now, Gooseworks has previously stated that she's the only one with access to real leaks, and there are no credible leaks floating around right now. So, is this image real? Here's what's interesting. Reports suggest this image was briefly posted by Glitch themselves before being taken down, and more importantly, it actually connects to something we've already seen confirmed in the official Episode 9 trailer. There's a specific moment in that trailer where Pomni opens a door, and whatever she's looking at on the other side is deliberately cut off. We don't see it. But in that same trailer, there's audio video of Pomni calling out Jax's name, like she's searching for him, worried about him. Put those two things together with the image of Jax collapsed on the floor, and it paints a pretty clear picture. Pomni finds Jax, and he is not okay. This next part caused genuine chaos in the fandom, and honestly, I think it's the most telling sign of all about what kind of ending we're actually getting. An official movie platform posted a synopsis for episode 9, and apparently it contained major spoilers for the actual ending. Not hints, not teases, real spoilers. The kind that once you read them, you can't unread. Fans who caught it before it was changed started sounding the alarm immediately, flooding comment sections and community posts pleading with the platform to take it down before it reached people who were trying to go in clean. And here's what I find genuinely fascinating about that. Think about how many show synopses you've scrolled past in your life that gave away basically nothing interesting. The gang faces a new challenge. Old enemies return. Vague stuff that tells you almost everything and nothing at the same time. The fact that this one had fans panicking, actively organizing to get it removed, tells you that what's in store for this finale is not a predictable, safe conclusion. People were scared of spoiling it because the ending is actually worth protecting. That's how you know this one hits differently. Eventually, the page was updated and the spoilers were scrubbed, but that window, however brief, confirmed something important. This ending is specific, it's unexpected, and based on everything else we've been piecing together, it's probably not the one most casual fans are hoping for. And finally, a cast list for episode 9 appears to have surfaced, and it includes something that directly ties back to the episode 8 flashback sequence. Some of the abstracted characters we briefly saw in that scene are apparently returning for the finale. Now, think about what that actually means for a second. Abstracted characters in this show aren't just background details. They represent what happens when someone has been trapped in the circus for too long. They lose themselves. They stop being recognizable. So, bringing those characters back in the finale isn't just a fun cameo moment. It's a reminder, a visual warning of what this place eventually does to people. And if those are the characters we're being reintroduced to as the story wraps up, it raises a deeply uncomfortable question. Are we watching the current cast narrowly escape that fate, or are we watching them slowly walk toward it? So let's take stock of where we actually are, because when you lay it all out together, the picture is pretty striking. Kinger is calm while everyone else is falling apart, like someone who's finally made peace with something the others haven't accepted yet. Pomni's fate is being framed as genuinely uncertain by official sources. Jax, the character who's spent the entire show pretending nothing bothers him, appears to be completely broken when Pomni finds him. The creator has openly called this episode miserable, and her older posts suggest the ending involves the characters accepting a life with no escape and no resolution. And personally, I think that's what makes this show special. Most animated series in this space would take the safe route. Big emotional moment. Someone gets out, roll credits, everyone claps. Gooseworks is clearly not interested in that. She's been building towards something that actually means something, even if meaning something comes at the cost of comfort. That's genuinely rare. And as someone who's been following this show since the beginning, I think episode 9 is going to be one of those finales that people are still talking about years from now. Not because it wrapped everything up neatly, but because it didn't. Whether that makes you excited or nervous, probably both, we're almost there. And I'll be covering every last detail as it drops. If you want to stay on top of every new update, teaser, and confirmation before the finale, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And if you've spotted something I missed, or you have your own theory about how this all ends, drop it in the comments below. I genuinely read every single one, and some of you have caught things I completely overlooked. See you in the next one.